Hey. We are back to talk about / review a brand new game called Windblown. I think it came out maybe October something, 25th perhaps. It's recent. It's been recent. This is a brand new game from Motion Twin, who made Dead Cells, which, by the way, self-plug, go watch my Dead Cells video. Love this game. I'm just straight out of the game. I really like this. I really like even the state that it's in right now as early access. But I'm very sure we'll be back to talk about this later because it's too new and it's too easy to finish. And I remember what they did with Dead Cells. I don't think we're done. I don't think we're anywhere close to done yet. But it is like a top-down roguelike, similar to Hades. But it feels like Dead Cells. It feels very much like Dead Cells made Hades, but this is also 1 to 3 player co-op, which is a really interesting and fun way to do this game. Been playing it a lot with my friend. We both bought it because we like Dead Cells, and I think a lot of their experience with the roguelike and with a roguelike like Dead Cells is very apparent right here. The characters have like a dash, which is essentially your dodge. If you played Hades, then you get the idea, right? Dash to dodge. But the difficulty scaling is very Dead Cells. I don't know if I had this much trouble with Hades, but I know Hades gets hard. It gets very hard, but it feels like Dead Cells to me. It feels way more like Dead Cells. I mean, they made it, and I'm gonna keep saying that because it's repetitive, but there are, right now, only 4 levels. Technically, there are 5 levels, but there are 4 stages to a run. There's an alternate level to the front. And you can have a very hard time beating the second world. The first actual boss you have to fight is going to actually probably test you for real. It reminds me more of like... Again, compared to Dead Cells, the prisoner quarters on the first level were interesting enough to teach you how to play the game, but there was quite a wake-up call at the promenade, and anything past the promenade, and especially when you finally made it to the warden, the guy on the bridge, the real boss fight in Dead Cells, first one, and he, after you play the game for so long, he's really not that hard. But in this game, you fight what you thought was a boss, but it was closer to like a mini-boss, and roughly around the end of the second world, you have to fight the headbanger, and that was very hard for me the first few times. It took us a good minute to figure out what we could and couldn't do to deal with what was happening, and the damage that these things put out is really high. You're not allowed to make a lot of mistakes, and that feels a lot more like Dead Cells to me than Hades. Hades felt a little more lenient, even though there were times where it was really tough, but there were also enough enemies on screen, and they're all trying to attack you, and you know, your player position, where you're standing, all of that matters. All of that's important, and just like Dead Cells, your weapon synergy, the perks on the weapons, what weapons you get, very much important, very much get the job done, and you have to run out and experiment and figure out, you know, what works for you and what doesn't work for you, as well as collect more items, you know, to help you get more going forward. But the game scales fast, quick and fast. The first world, I don't think you're expected to beat, and I think it took me at least 2 runs to do, but the headbanger has been just flattening people. Most people, like, on the Steam discussion page seemed like they were unable to deal with it. Now, we were just about able to finish the Stormy difficulty. If you can finish the game, they'll give you a custom modifier, and it's basically like the cell modes in Dead Cells. It's just going to keep making things harder. And if the base game's called Clear Skies, each one gets worse, and we did Foggy and then Stormy, and Stormy really starting to feel like it's harder. We have yet to beat it, but I didn't even have to do those modes to talk about this video, but we were just playing those modes. You know, they're super equivalent to the cell modes. It's basically Boss Cell 2, or closer to what like original Boss Cell 2 was like, because nowadays it's not as hard. But there are some really interesting mechanics in this game, like because it's co-op and they want this difficulty scaling, like they want it to be hard, you have to be able to fight these enemies. If you're playing with 2 or 3 people, it only takes one person to die and it puts everyone into a sudden death mode. And right now, you have to kill 10 enemies, or the equivalent of 10 enemies. So I think an elite counts for like 5 enemies and a boss would count for all 10. But if any of them get hit, it kills them immediately. And people are complaining about that. But I don't think they should change it at all. I really want that scaling, the difficulty. You cannot let your friend die under any circumstance, because there's very little chance you're going to be able to survive in sudden death mode. You could do it, we've done it, but it's so hard to have that kind of pressure and not give up any damage at all. It's the easiest way to lose a run, and I feel like it's an appropriate ask given that solo is basically that hard. So you had to make co-op that hard, and you get some flexibility for playing in co-op that you don't get for playing in solo. Like, you can have way more items, a bigger variety of things. You have 2 different people to pull, you know, enemy sight lines, but the trade-off is like you guys got to share what you find. You don't have like in solo, I can pick up any weapon. I'm only worried about what works for me. But one of our typical problems we have is that my friend is staying back and mostly sniping from a distance, and I'm way too closer and trying to fight a lot of these guys up close and dodge their attacks. And that works all well and good, but if I mess that up and I die, he's dead. Like, we have to work together is the lesson you learn. Like, if you're playing in co-op, you need to make sure that the whole team has what they need to stay alive, because you need the weakest link or the guy that's most likely to get killed to not get killed, no matter how good you're playing. You can pick up everything you could ever want and hoard it for yourself, but the minute that guy dies because his gear's bad, you're dead. You're in trouble. And I really, really like that, because it's, you know, Fortnite we were playing doesn't always force you to coordinate with people. You could have one guy just be really good and save everything, but this game really makes you cooperate, make sure people have what they need. Trade people items, you can drop the gifts, the modifiers, the trinkets, you can drop all of this stuff and give them to your friends. And you need to make sure they have what they need. Like, I always ended up needing more health because being all the way down on the front line causes me to get hit more. And I always ended up with like necromancy or something that could get me a little bit more health or more shells, because I need to buy health flasks. And it kind of forced that to happen, you know? If they're in the back line and they're sniping, if you find a good weapon for throwing distance in the back, you need to make sure that they have a chance to get that. Don't hoard that for yourself. If you're not using it, make sure they get what they need. Because if they don't, and they die, you're screwed. And I really think that's cool. I really like the cooperative multiplayer. I think this is already going to be quite the hit of a game. I'm looking forward to what they do, how they add to it. If you ever manage to finish a run, you'll see that clearly they intend to add to the story, because the run just didn't say anything. It didn't stop. Like, it's in early access. They're going to add more. We'll be back here probably to talk about more achievements later, because, you know, they're definitely not finished. You saw how Dead Cells went. They aren't done. They'll add more, and it's going to get harder. But yeah, I mean, people are having so much trouble with the headbanger. I don't think they can handle everything past that. I'm not sure anyone, if you can't beat the headbanger, you know, you're gonna have an even harder time going forward, because they are harder. They are worse. The brothers are very tough until you can figure out what order you need to fight them in, or there's not even a right way. You just have to do it in a way that works for you. I really like it. If you think it's worth it, pick it up right now. I like this. It's gonna be more fun. If you like Dead Cells, maybe even if you liked Hades or you like them both, here you go. It's a co-op game. Play it with your friends. Tough. It's a tough game. Typical answer, get good. Don't go complaining on the Steam discussion board because the headbanger boss is too hard for you. Or that there's, a steep penalty for co-op. This is a hard game, and you can get better at it. I can fight the headbanger and not get hit at all. Just learn his attack pattern. Play it a few times. You'll be fine. But we're here. I gotta mention the achievements for this because it's what we're here for. Currently, most of them are really not that bad. They're, typical story, just running through. You'll get a lot of the tutorial that's a lot longer than you'd think it would be. Reach each of the biomes. That I know I said a lot about that, but again, this is a spoiler video, so maybe don't. If you're worried about it, don't listen to this any more than you already have. But each level, which includes the hidden one, the fungal swamp, which you eventually can get to, which is an alternate to the very first biome. You get like a choice. The rat village, and the incubator. The rat village incubator, fungal swamp, factory. There's also defeat each of the bosses, which can be something if you didn't catch on early, that there is definitely a secret boss that you can get to show up that you have to beat, but looking at the percentages, 35% of people definitely figured out they can do that. When you defeat the headbanger at the end of the factory level, the head of the boss will try to run away. It is an achievement to stop the head and kill it before it can run off. And if you do that, instead of fighting the head mini-boss at the rat village, you will fight the pirate protector because the head can't be there. Now mind you, there's an achievement for both the head mini-boss and the pirate mini-boss. You have to actually let the head escape and fight it as a mini-boss or you won't get that one. So you're gonna have to do 2 runs at the very least at that difficulty. But to get the pirate to show up, you have to defeat the head before it runs away. And if you want a tip for that, maybe use the glue trap. The glue trap, the detonato if you have it. I wouldn't suggest freeze because they tend to unfreeze immediately, but definitely glue and detonato can hold them in place for so long that you can get the job done. You got it. It's not that bad. Just keep in mind, even a bad glue trinket or level 1 glue trinket will hold him in place. It just does less damage, but you're not using it to do damage, so it'll be fine. Definitely the brothers at the end are an achievement, and the only real tip I can give you is that figure out which one of those you have so much trouble fighting and do that one first, because you have to fight 3 mini bosses who get more powerful the longer they're in the incubator, and it's a very interesting fight. So you're given freedom to pick which one you can take and which one you don't want to deal with. For me, it's the green one because he's so fast. We fought him as a tier 3 and he just ran us down. I still can't figure out how to deal with how fast he is. We've been mostly doing blue, but blue is the slow heavy hitter, and at tier 3 when he's that strong, you really cannot let him hit you. I haven't tried the red one as the 3rd tier. I almost always do red as 2nd because he's kind of a projectile AoE guy. And at tier 3 it might be more feasible since it's mostly dodging what he's doing instead of having him run up and hit you, but it's really kind of your decision on which one to take. But keep in mind that the incubator and the brothers fights are currently the end of the game, and they are a test. Especially when we were playing on Stormy, it is very hard. It's reaching the point where we probably have to run past everyone. We're like, I don't know if I can fight that right now. We gotta just ignore it and run. But stick with it and you'll get it. A lot of the enemies have repeating attack patterns. Try and fail, try and fail, try and fail, try and fail. It's like Dead Cells, it's like Hades. As long as you're earning the cogs, you're earning the dust, you're earning the crystals, just keep giving it a shot. Just go in and try it again, learn what works for you. Unlock some new weapons, unlock some new gifts. You know, you'll get there, you'll get it. Because we went back down to clear skies, and the only reason that we lost on base mode is because I took one of the weird cursed gifts. You know, you can do it. You just have to stick with it. It's a very high scaling game, so focus on it, you know? Good luck. But the achievements generally, like that, are actually very respectable and stuff you would normally do. The only one that actually took additional effort to do that wasn't like, hey, defeat the head before it runs off because you didn't think that you could do that, is to unlock 30 gifts, which is the rarest by far on the entire game. Yeah. Defeating the brothers, 27% of people have done right now, but only 5% have unlocked 30 gifts. It is just that straightforward. There are way more gifts than you think there are. You just do multiple runs. If you need gears or you need more stuff, play on a higher difficulty, play on foggy, play on stormy. If you beat the game, you have the higher gear drop ratio on the harder difficulty, similar to how the boss cells worked before. But really just, it is straightforward. By the time you finish the game, you'll have it all under control. You can pick off all the achievements right now. You just have to go back to get 30 gifts. You just keep unlocking the gifts, it's fine. But I mean, I love the game, it's straightforward, but I know how these guys work, and this is early access. They're definitely going to add more to this. So this is kind of a tentative, it is complete, but we know it won't be later. You know, I wanted to talk about it because it is currently complete. I really like this game, I would recommend this immediately. I already sent this to everyone I know that plays like Hades, that played Dead Cells. I want to see people play this. I like Motion Twin a lot. By and far, try it out. If you're interested, try it out. I really like it. I like what they're doing. I feel like we're gonna get Dead Cells 2 out of this. Like, I want to see what happens. And I like being semi-done with it now. But I mean, yeah, into this video, depending on if I released them in the correct order, I already did the Forewarned, like, redo. I got this one, working on Phasmophobia. One day I'll bother to finish, you know, Mortal Kombat 1, maybe. Planet Coaster 2, still sometime today. Planet Coaster 1 was an absolute, you know, dogfight to finish for me, so 2 is probably going to be that hard, so we'll see. And, yeah, looking forward to stuff. Might lock down all winter and forget to, you know, actually finish anything, but I need to go back and finish Forza because go figure, Forza added more achievements. I wish they would stop doing this. I really wish I could be free of Forza Horizon 5, but they know that if they just keep adding stuff, people come back. Stop it. Make Forza Horizon 6 so I don't ever have to buy the game. Let me have my finished game, please. But yeah, I mean, that's all I got for this. That's all I'm out. You got anything for me? Let me know. You got something to play? You like the way that I'm just ranting? I don't know. Just, you know, like the video, comment. It's all good. It's all good. I'm gonna get out of here. I gotta go back to work, actually. So, I'm gonna see you next time, guys. Okay. Bye.